Hello Booktube, this is Kelly and my channel is Books I'm Not Reading. Thank you so much for joining me. I know there's some new faces out there, so welcome. Please feel free to say hello in the comment section. I would love to hear from you, so thank you so much for being here. I wanted to do a response video to a video on the channel Supposedly Fun, which I will link that video down below. That channel is hosted by Greg, and while you watch his video about the Pulitzer Prize project, I strongly encourage you to subscribe to his fantastic channel. But I did have to talk about this. Back in April, Greg posted, I think it was at least 3 videos about the Pulitzer Prize. And I was kind of going, hey, that's my thing. Like, I have read all the books that have won the Pulitzer Prize for fiction, or as it was previously known, the Pulitzer Prize for the novel. And I'm like, who is this guy? Like, what is he talking about? And that is the fun and unique thing that I bring to Booktube. So, anyway, so we started chatting. He has not read all of the books for the Pulitzer Prize, but as you'll see from the video down below, he's planning on trying to do it. And I'm sure he'll be successful. And I am very excited for him. This video is mainly all in jest, but I did have to respond to it because, as Greg mentions in his video, we had kind of a conversation in the comment section about how I went about it, which was I read them completely in random order. I read things in between. So I think the whole thing took me a little over 2 years. So, okay. So, but again, I did tell Greg that I did not read them in chronological order of when they were given the prize. Greg has decided not to go that route, and he is planning on reading them in chronological order. And so I'm here to try to persuade him to not punish himself like this. And I do get the sense that Greg is also going to read plenty of other things in between reading Pulitzer Prizes. So here are just a few thoughts about why reading all the books that have won any prize, any literary prize. And if you have read all the books of another literary prize, please tell me down below. Or if you're trying to, I would love to hear that. I would love to see videos about that. I'd be fascinated to hear about how other people went about it. So I counted 93 Pulitzer Prize winners. Greg has a different number on his channel, and I'm not including most of the books that the year where no award was given, with the exception of Gravity's Rainbow, which, Greg, it's a terrible book. Terrible. Anyway, so at one point in his video, Greg says, the nerd in me is, is wanting to read these in order to get a sense of what's happening within a particular period of time in America, which I totally understand the idea behind that, but I think Greg is totally capable of doing that without reading a decade at a time, reading one by one, because you sort of get trapped in that time, and there's a lot of, I hate to say this, there's a lot of books, although maybe I'm overstating it. I did look on my Goodreads account this morning. I only gave 6, I've only given 6 books that have won the Pulitzer Prize 1 star. 17 I've given 2 stars to, 29 I've given 3 stars, 32 will be 4 stars, and 9 5 stars. And I have not read the Overstory yet, so. But you don't just you can't just read only these books. So Conrad Richter won the Pulitzer Prize for The Town, and I really don't think that you can read that book without having read The Trees and Fields, which comes before The Town. Stribling won for The Store, but before The Store is The Forge. And the Rabbit books, which Craig is a little nervous about reading because Updike was a 2-time Pulitzer winner. He won for the last 2 books in his Rabbit series. So there's Rabbit Run, Rabbit Redux, Rabbit is Rich, and Rabbit at Rest. And I really don't think, I did not enjoy those books at all. So, but I don't think you can read Rabbit at Rest without having read the beginning 2. I mean, like, it's about someone's life, like their whole life. And so I do think it's important to read those. So that's also what took me longer, was because I was reading the books that came in the series before. Ironically, Greg makes reference to Dragon's Teeth by Upton Sinclair, which I did know was part of a series. I had such a hard time getting Dragon's Teeth that I did not read the 2 books that came before it. And I think I knew it was part of like a big, I think it's 11 or 12 books that are part of that series. So, you know, I mean, maybe, I don't know. Like, and honestly, like, what do I remember about Dragon's Teeth in that game? So, but you know, I mean, a lot of the books, The Good Earth, Greg, you are going to love The Good Earth, and it has nothing to do with the fact that it won the Pulitzer Prize. It's a great book. It's a great, great book. The other thing that makes reading the Pulitzers in order challenging is that there's a lot of collected stories that have won the Pulitzer Prize. I didn't count them up on my list, but a few of them are quite large. These are the collected stories of Jean Stafford, which one of them could still potentially give me nightmares at any time. They're very dark stories, which is why we've kept them, because I think Jason will enjoy them if he ever decides to read short stories. If he ever gets around to it. But we also, for a while, owned the stories of Catherine Ann Porter. I don't think we do anymore. But that's another huge, huge book. And so it gets tricky. It gets tricky about, like, I mean, do you read these, like, all in order? On the same token, I should have grabbed it. The collected stories of John Cheever, like, those are fantastic. And we, you know, I agree, like, we should keep those. Those are great, great short stories, but it's a huge book. So, you know, if you decide to read everything in order, or like, you could even read a short story collection and a Pulitzer Prize at the same time. So, yes, I just wanted to say hi to Greg and let all of you know my thoughts about how he's approaching the Pulitzer Project. Again, I do understand why you might think that's a good way to go about it, but I also think, Greg, you're totally capable of recollecting and taking notes or whatever of previous books that you've read from a decade and trying to see some larger themes in there. I think that's a really interesting idea. And I'm super excited for you to post videos about some of these Pulitzer books. I'm really glad that I did not have a Booktube channel. I didn't know about Booktube when I did the Pulitzer Project, and because there would have been so many rant videos. I get so tired of reading about rich, bored housewives and things like that. But there are also things like this book, Now in November, by Josephine Johnson, just published in 1934. And this is actually the UK version. We could not find it in America. So this is a Virago Modern Classics. I don't know why. I guess maybe the British are smarter. They know what a good book this is, and that it should stay in print But I am thrilled at the idea of anyone else, of meeting anyone else who's even read this book. So it's so beautiful. It's just heartbreaking and wonderful. And I know those are really vague terms, but this is just one of the treasures. The whole Pulitzer Project was worth it to find this. So a little over 2 years, but I got this book out of it, along with, of course, at least, let's see, what did I say? 9 other books that I gave 5 stars to. And I will say, to Greg's credit, he's already read 28 of the books that have won the Pulitzer Prize. So he's far, far ahead of me when I started the project. I had not read even... I suspect I had read less than 10, Pulitzer Prize winners when I started it. So, Greg, I wish you the best of luck. I can't wait to see your videos. I hope you rethink the timeline. I'm just trying to help you out, man. But I'm really, really excited to see where it takes you, and your thoughts on all of these books, because many of them we don't ever... it was so thrilling to watch Greg talk about Ernest Poole's his family, which is the first book to win the Pulitzer Prize, and I didn't know a lot of the stuff that Greg talks about in his video related to that author. So it's thrilling to hear somebody else bring up these names that I know. So thank you so much. And again, Greg, I hope you know this is mainly in jest, but I'm just trying to help you out a little bit there. If you have a favorite Pulitzer or a favorite award-winning book, if you have a book that you feel like it never deserved to win a prize, but did, or received lots of acclaim, that kind of thing, tell me your stories in the comment section down below about reading award-winning books, and I will talk to you soon, Booktube. Remember to be kind to yourself and to be kind to others. Take care. Thanks, Booktube.